welcome to the next episode of the Avatar Last Airbender, The World Started Over. This episode is going to be about waterbending, as you could tell from the title. I'm actually recording this video less than an hour after I recorded my last video, so I've been just wanting to record another video, so even though it seemed like a long time between these videos, it's actually not that long of a time. It's all an illusion. But let's get into it. So we have these cultures happening here. The Airbenders, with this alliance, they decide that they don't want to hurt the purple team, just want to stay in the alliance, but then they go to the other side of the purple team territory. It's not that stable though, but so when they're here, there's this airbending training ground, and there's guy training airbending near the water and couldn't train airbending, but he accidentally started waterbending here and discovers waterbending is a thing. And a bunch of people he tells us a bunch of people, the information spreads, so he creates his own waterbending nation, which is going to be light blue. So now there's airbending and waterbending. There's a whole new discovery, because people didn't know there's multiple bending styles before. People just thought there's probably just airbending, and they go around this coast, and they eventually find the complete shape of this coast over here, and they decide we want to expand just across the coast there, though, because they weren't much to wanting to go into the mountains. So they expand across this coast like a very thin strip. No, not that. That. And that. Not that. They're good enough. And then, because they don't want to use the mountains, so, the airbenders, discover the mountains back here, and they decide that they want to use this mountainous area back here. They're living on top of the mountains. Find this area over here pretty suitable, so they go there. And then this purple team, so they start discovering land over here and then they find this vast sea. I didn't realize at the time, but they actually discovered the ocean, the first, because before that, the biggest body of water they knew of was over here. So they're what? There's the bigger body of water? They didn't know how big it was, but they're cool, new water, and they slowly expand this way to this water. And speaking of water, these waterbenders hear that they found this new body of water that's uninhabited by humans. So a bunch of there's this big expedition of waterbenders that go out here and the water, and then they go along this coast and they find this massive area, and they eventually stop at this river and decide to settle down over here on this and now we have a dark bluish team over here settling down on the coast, doing some expanding along this coast. Very coastal civilization, because these are mostly waterbenders, because these waterbenders exploring the coast and ooh, water, and so they found this part of the ocean. And also, in the meantime, pretty similar time of this, a big group of explorers from this blue, normal blue team, just non-benders team, starts to go down their river more, and we want to explore more. And then they found part of the ocean. Like, at first they just thought it was like another small lake, but like because like they only see this part, but they also realized, like, they also discovered part of the ocean and some islands here, and they're like, okay, cool, let's expand, because, you know, who doesn't like new land? And they expand down here, down to here, and get this new land, and colonize it, and then like a bunch of water benders, not water bottles, hear about this, like, more water, like, they wonder if this body water is detached or like something, so like they start like discovering like there's like coasts over here, and they discover like, wow, that's a lot of water down here. So they're like, wow, cool, new land and stuff. So they're like, they decide that they want to settle down and start a new like culture in this like grayish blue color. And like, whoa, they start a new culture over here. So like the ocean's found in like two different places like at the same time. It's found over here and over here, just like thin stretches. So it's like, you know, all the oceans. And then like they're like, wow, this, you know, there's a lot more water than we thought, and it's like news gets around, it's like, wow, and there's like this whole like exploration race, just like this purple team's like, wow, they like, you know, we want to explore this land more. They're like, we want to see if we can like colonize it more, and they like explore around to here. They find like a lot of new land and like a lot of water. They're like, you know what, let's make settlements. And like these are still like non-benders, even though they're by the water. But like so it's just like this new settlement of like non-benders by the water, but like a lot of like benders start like to join the purple group down here, because they're like, oh, they want to be by the water, but in this new area and exploring. And then there's also this civilization, like a lot of waterbenders are going down here and down here, because like they're like, oh, water? And like, you know, to practice waterbending on, like, so this area starts like getting a bit detached, and like a lot more waterbenders are moving in there. So this area actually breaks off and it becomes, it's a new nation, this like lavender color down here, and like and they have some border disputes, but they eventually decide that, like, you know, here would be a good border after like the war, because like, you know, that's the land they wanted. And so there's this new civilization over here that's like half non-benders but like half waterbenders, so it's like kind of like mixed between waterbenders and non-waterbenders. And like, so it's like whole thing, it's like, and then, you know, this whole thing, it's like, wow, water. And like a bunch of other, like, you know, this brown civilization decides it wants to expand and sends a team itself, and like, ooh, go down here, and they're like, wow, we found another body of water. And at first they think maybe it's a lake, because like it looked kind of small, but it was actually the ocean. And they're just like, wow, it's another like big body of water, like, you know, what's with all these water bodies? Sounds weird when I say water bodies like that. So, but like they start expanding down here, and like, and they like expand a lot down here, because honestly this would have been probably a bit more of a slow burn, but kind of forgot about the brown team, or the last episode about doing this, but it's like, it took a bit longer, but like also it just like starts settlements down here, and they're like, you know, there's now even more news, like, ooh, like, you know, the brown team like found more water, and there's like a big flocking of waterbenders. It's just like more water, and just like this whole like kind of exploration of the coast of the Earth Kingdom. It's like a big amount of exploration here, and it's kind of like another nation of waterbenders comes by, like, let's do like this color, very dark blue, kind of purplish color, and like, hey, we want to, make their own nation. Like, now there's a lot of nations of waterbenders. Waterbenders are actually doing pretty well and thriving along the coastlines here, so it's like a whole thing. And it's like all these civilizations here, but like, oh, the water, like there's more water, like, and like up rivers, like they're finding that these rivers are connecting to big bodies of water. So like, oh, let's find out if our river connects out to a big body of water. So like, there's actually a combined gold team and yellow team effort to go up this river because they're like allied together, and because like all brown, gold, yellow, pink, and dark red are all allied together because they're like all defected from the red team. They're allied for their hate of the red team, but they eventually find out, no, there's nothing here, there's no other body of water. So they're like, kind of disappointed, but like they still use some of the land. Like, okay, let's expand up it a bit anyways, because land, yes sirree, we love land. So they expand up the river a bit, not that far, and then they're like, okay, let's make another expedition from like here for the brown team, and the gold team make this, and like, ooh, another river, but no, it goes nowhere. And then go up here, and like, oh, it's like this, it's a body of water. So I think, is it like an ocean or something? Like, how big is this body of water? But they only get up partially through the lake before they stop, and they're like, woo, cool, another body of water. And they kind of celebrate here, and like they expand their land. Ooh, not that much. Brown team is not getting that much land. Brown team wishes they had that much land. Perfect. Yeah, and here, and then gold team expands a bit, and there's like waterbenders like, oh, even more water? So they start so they launch another expedition to find how far this water goes. But then they realize, oh, it's just a lake, but the water actually continues going on. And it continues going on, and like, ooh, this is a long journey, but like they go through this journey because they want to find water, and they find another body of water, like, yay, celebration time. So like they like found this body of water and decide, this group of waterbenders decides to settle there, because whenever a waterbender finds a body of water, they like to settle there, apparently. That's just unwritten rule of waterbending. I don't know what I'm saying, but they use this light, like, tannish color, settle around the mouth of the river a bit, and this area, and bam, bam, bam. Oh wait, that's the same color of the undiscovered area. Huh. Never mind. They use gray, because gray. Nope, not there. That would be way too much land. I said no. Okay. have this small land area. They're like, yay, we found even more water. And it's like these waterbenders are really finding a lot of water, and they're like excited about that. So it's like, water, moist. So the red team and the dark red team and the pink team, like, okay, like a lot of other expeditions are being successful, so start going here, and then they're like, and then like go around here, and then they decide to discover a bit further, and they find this river, and they're like, whoa, oh, another river here, and like they really got far, and they find another coastline. They're like, wow, even more water. They're like, at this time, like, they don't know what, like, the shape of, like, the world is, like, because they're just thinking, like, there's a bunch of different large lakes out here, just big bodies of water out here. What? Why is that? Where's the gap? What? They just think there's a bunch of big bodies of water out here. They're like, oh, water, yay. And, like, so they're like, oh, all this new water, big bodies of water, because they think, like, oh, probably a bunch of big lakes. Like, they think there's a big lake here, another big lake here, like, another big lake here, and a big lake here, and a big lake here. So they just, like, don't really think of them as, like, the ocean. They don't think they're connected. They're just think bunch of big lakes around them. So it's like, yeah. And then there's group of people, so they're dark gray group of people, and like they're like, yay, new land for the waterbenders. The waterbenders are really popping off and finding a lot of new land, and like this wasn't even the only direction of like the river that went, so they're like, oh, maybe there's more directions. But right now they're like, okay, let's cut the brakes a little. We don't have that many resources, but like the red team decides to spread a bit into this new river area, because they're like, just why not, discover new land, take new land. Pink team decides to go in a bit and kind of makes this red team place into a bit of an enclave. But like, so it's just like, pretty good for them. And like all this new water is being found, and it's just like the waterbenders really looking up for all the waterbenders, and like it's just like, it's like they don't know much of like what actually exists out there, but they're like, it's just really cool, and like, it's just, okay, got everything here. I was just like, I just think they found a bunch of gigantic lakes, and like, because a lot of these like tribes and cultures are like really water dependent, because like, if you stray away from the water, you don't really have much like to do there. So it's like the waterbenders are really doing well, and like the airbenders are like, why not expand more land out through these mountains and eventually meet up with the blue team over here and fill this region in, so, and eventually hit water again. These waterbenders are kind of enclosed, and like other than like here, which the purple team's like, we'll take that land, why not, because like land. So the light blue team's like really enclosed here, but like the original waterbenders. And red team's still not really doing well, and they want to try and expand more land, and they learned that like going too far from like the main area, like which is like over here in the main area, is like not the best decision. So they try to expand like close to that area and like go down here further inland, and not just hugging the coast, because all the coast has been like captured and used. So they use more land, and the red team like doing a bit better. But right now I would say blue team still on top. Then I would say the purple team in second, still, doing pretty well. Then the airbender team in third. The airbender team actually recovered quite a bit. Then maybe the dark red team. Dark red team's doing pretty well. And has been doing pretty well on the coast. And then the golden team. Then the brown team. The brown team's actually doing a lot better now. Then probably the yellow team and the pink team. And then the light blue team. It's pretty new, so it's not doing as good. But still doing pretty good. And then probably the lavender team. And then maybe the dark gray team. And probably this like darkish purple blue team, and then this light gray team, then this dark blue team, and then this like grayish blue team would probably be like the hierarchy, somewhere around there, because a lot of these like new waterbending areas, like they're pretty new and also pretty small, but like yeah, so that's what I was doing, and yeah, goodbye, Avatar nerds.